Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel is known as one of the most profound but also difficult philosophers of 19th century Germany. He was obsessed with crafting an overarching philosophical system that would explain everything from logic to consciousness to political states. His 1807 masterwork, The Phenomenology of Spirit, is one of the texts in which he tried to do just that. But before he completed that text, he wrote an early draft of his system in which cosmic love played the central role. And the text we're reading comes from that unpublished work. In it, Hegel articulates a version of the union view of love, in which love involves dissolving the boundaries between self and other. But precisely what that means is more complicated than it seems at first glance, even in a reading as short as this one. I'm Professor Ellie Anderson. In this video of the Intimate Relationships course, we'll be looking at Hegel's Fragment on Love. Now, enjoy the reading, which is extremely short, but still full of ideas, and I'll see you back here after. Hegel is one of numerous philosophers who holds what is known as a union view of love. He literally defines love as true union. Think back to Aristophanes' myth in the Symposium, suggesting that we humans are in search of our other halves because we were ruthlessly split into two by the gods. That was one version of the union view. Hegel offers a different one. Before we get into his different view, let's think a little about what might motivate a union view of love. Because it seems strange at first to consider love a union. After all, love involves more than one person. Lovers have different bodies, for one thing, and they move about in the world separately in a literal sense. When I eat my lunch, it doesn't give calories to my lover. We must mean a different kind of union than a literal union then, like the state of wholeness before Zeus chopped us in half. As we saw, Aristophanes said that the union happens through sexual intercourse. But we could also think about the union as a pooling of resources. At least in marriage, partners generally share finances, insurance, a household. They share cares and worries, hopes and dreams. They might not eat lunch for each other, but they do share the same groceries. This isn't all that Hegel meant by union, though. Hegel has an idealistic streak. Well, he's literally an idealist in the technical sense, but that's not quite how I'm meaning it here. His view is deeply connected to the Christian picture of marriage. The book of Genesis describes marriage as follows. A man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. And Jesus cites this passage in the book of Matthew when asked whether divorce is wrong. Divorce is wrong, Jesus says, because once God has made two into one, they cannot be separated. Marriage mystically transfigures the couple into a unified whole. This Christian picture explicitly states that the couple must involve one man and one woman, and that distinguishes it from the various forms of union in Aristophanes' myth. It also suggests that the union of a man and woman creates a new family unit, because the man leaves his family of origin and creates a new family with his wife. So let's dive into the picture of union that Hegel offers in greater detail, which is deeply inspired by this Christian idea. When we love, Hegel thinks we lose the consciousness of a separate self. Any meaningful distinction between lovers is annulled. The only kind of separateness lovers can be said to have is a kind of separateness of multiple organs in the same living body. The lovers are each organs in a loving whole. Therefore, even their separateness is something united, because the organs could not function without one another. Love is a feeling for Hegel, but it's not just one feeling among others. This is because love is life itself. It's the sensing of something living. The only possible separation of lovers is through death. The union in love is so total that Hegel thinks even the body loses its separateness. This happens through the figure of the child. The child is the physical embodiment of the union of the lovers' bodies. Sex, specifically heterosexual intercourse, thus plays an important role in Hegel's vision of the union between lovers. As a child grows, however, it breaks off from its parents and becomes opposed to them. It tries to live out the union of its parents by finding its own mate. And so Hegel suggests the course of love is union, separation into opposites, and reunion. Importantly, this union can only be achieved if the lovers are alike in power. That is, love requires equality. The description of love he gives in the first sentence of the reading suggests that the equality of love allows the lovers to see one another as living beings from every point of view. That is, Lovers are not just limited to their specific social roles in their relationships, but are seen as fully living beings. We recognize our loved ones as embodied consciousnesses. And when we do this, we abandon all distinction between giving and taking. There is no tit for tat in love, no calculation of who does what for whom. Love is infinite. Hegel quotes Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet here, where Juliet tells Romeo that the more she gives to him, the more she has. This makes sense if you understand love as a unity. Anytime you give something, you're also receiving it. You're, in a sense, giving it to yourself, since the lover is a part of you.